Imagine yourself settling into a quiet evening, the world around you softening as the day fades. The flicker of candlelight dances across a room, casting gentle shadows, and the distant hum of modern life falls away. Tonight, we're stepping back to the late 16th century, to the England of Elizabeth I, realm of ambition, artistry, and quiet resilience. This is not a tale of battles or grand spectacles, but a slow, immersive journey through the rhythm of lives long past. Let your mind drift as we wander through the cobblestone streets, the royal courts, and the mysteries that linger in the shadows of this remarkable era. Close your eyes, if you wish, and let the story carry you gently toward rest. Elizabethan England was a world of contrasts, beauty and hardship, progress and peril, certainty and enigma. As we explore, we'll walk alongside the common folk, stand in the presence of a queen, ponder an unsolved mystery, and glimpse the lives of those who shaped a nation. Our journey begins with the heartbeat of this world, the daily lives of its people. Picture yourself there, in a bustling market or a quiet village, as the day unfolds. Imagine yourself standing in a small English village at dawn, the air cool and heavy with the scent of dew-soaked grass. The year is 1590, and the first light of morning spills over thatched roofs, stirring the world to life. A rooster crows, its call sharp but familiar, blending with the soft clink of tools and the low murmur of voices. This is the rhythm of Elizabethan daily life, a steady, unhurried pulse that binds the people to the land, to their labor, and to one another. Most Elizabethans, perhaps 9 out of every 10, live in rural villages like this one. Their homes are modest, built of timber and wattle, with walls of plastered clay and roofs of straw or reed. Step inside one, and you'd find a single room, perhaps 2, warmed by a hearth where a fire crackles softly. The air carries the faint, earthy scent of burning wood, mixed with the temps of herbs drying in the rafters. A wooden table, worn smooth by years of use, holds a simple meal: coarse rye bread, a wedge of cheese, and perhaps a bowl of pottage, a thick stew of barley, peas, and whatever vegetables the season offers. Meat is a luxury, reserved for festivals or the tables of the better off. Weak, but nourishing, is the drink of choice, sipped from wooden mugs, even at breakfast, as water is often unsafe. The day begins early. Men rise to tend fields or livestock, their hands calloused from plowing or shearing. Picture a farmer, his breath visible in the chilly air, guiding an ox through furrows of dark, loamy soil. The work is relentless, tied to the season's sowing in spring, harvesting in autumn, and mending tools in the quieter winter months. Women, too, are busy from dawn. They churn butter, spin wool into thread, or tend small gardens where cabbages and onions grow. Children scamper about, fetching water from the village well or gathering kindling, their laughter a fleeting melody against the steady hum of labor. In towns, the rhythm shifts but remains constant. Imagine yourself in a bustling market square where the cobblestones are slick with morning mist. Merchants call out softly, their voices weaving through the clatter of carts and the bleating of sheep. Stalls, brimmed with bolts of woolen cloth, barrels of salted fish, and baskets of apples, their skins dappled red and gold. The air is thick with the scents of fresh baked bread, tanned leather, and the faint, acrid bite of smoke from a nearby forge. Apprentices, young and eager, dart between workshops, learning trades that will define their lives: blacksmithing, weaving, or candle making. Every task, every trade, is part of the intricate tapestry of survival. Yet life here is not without its shadows. Disease is a constant companion, lurking in crowded towns and damp villages. Cough could herald the plague, which sweeps through communities like a silent thief, leaving grief in its wake. Sanitation is rudimentary. Waste is tossed into streets or nearby streams, and the air in towns can grow heavy with the stench of refuse. Medical knowledge is limited to herbs, and prayers are often the only remedies. And many ailments are endured rather than cured. Childbirth, too, carries risk, and many families know the quiet sorrow of loss. Yet these hardships are woven into the fabric of daily life, accepted as part of the rhythm, like the turning of the seasons. Religion shapes this world profoundly. The Church of England, established by Elizabeth's father, Henry VIII, holds sway, and attending Sunday service is not just a duty, but a social anchor. Picture a stone church, its pews filled with villagers in their best woolen clothes. The air cool and musty, the sermon a steady drone that lulls the weary. Faith offers comfort, but it also divides. Catholics and Puritans face suspicion, their beliefs a quiet undercurrent of tension in a Protestant realm. Food, work, and faith are the pillars of this life, but there is joy, too. Festivals punctuate the year, moments when the rhythm of labor pauses. At harvest time, imagine a village green, alive, with music of fiddlers tune, bright and lilting, as people dance in simple steps, their faces flushed with ale and laughter. These moments are fleeting but cherished, a reminder that even in hardship, there is space for connection. As the day draws to a close, the village quiets. The sun dips below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of amber and violet. Families gather by the hearth, sharing stories or mending clothes by candlelight. The world slows and the rhythm of life softens, ready to begin anew with the next dawn. This was the pulse of Elizabethan England, a life of labor, faith, and quiet resilience, shaped by the land and the seasons. As we leave this village behind, let us turn our gaze to the heart of this realm, the Queen herself, Elizabeth I, whose life and reign defined an era. Her story, like the lives of her people, is one of triumphs and struggles, woven into the tapestry of history. As the village fades into the soft haze of evening, imagine yourself stepping into a grander world, where stone palaces rise against the skyline, and the weight of a nation rests on one woman's shoulders. The year is still 1590, and Elizabeth I, Queen of England, stands at the heart of this realm. Her reign, now in its third decade, is a tapestry of triumphs, challenges, and careful calculations. Let us walk beside her, tracing the path of a woman whose life shaped an era, her story unfolding like a quiet river, steady and deliberate. Elizabeth was born in 1533, a princess whose arrival was met not with celebration, but with disappointment. Her father, King Henry VIII, had reshaped England's church and broken ties with Rome to secure a male heir. Yet his second wife, Anne Boleyn, gave him a daughter. Picture a young Elizabeth, a child with fiery red hair and a sharp mind, growing up in the shadow of a volatile court. Her mother's execution, when Elizabeth was not yet 3, left her vulnerable, declared illegitimate, and cast to the margins of royal life. The air in those early years must have carried the weight of uncertainty, the whispers of courtiers a constant hum around her. Yet Elizabeth was no ordinary child. Educated in the classics, she mastered Latin, Greek, and French, her quill scratching across parchment in quiet hours. Imagine her in a candlelit room at Hatfield House, her childhood home, poring over texts by candlelight, the scent of wax mingling with the musty pages. Her intellect was her armor, honed through years of navigating a court where favor could shift like the wind. By the time her half-sister, Mary I, died in 1558, Elizabeth was ready not just to rule, but to redefine what it meant to be a queen. Her coronation, at age 25, was a moment of quiet splendor. Picture Westminster Abbey, its stone walls cool and ancient, filled with the soft rustle of velvet and the murmur of prayers. Elizabeth, clad in gold and ermine, stepped into her role with a resolve that belied her youth. England was fractured, torn by religious strife, threatened by foreign powers, and weakened by economic strain. Yet she faced these challenges with a measured grace, her voice calm but unyielding, her decisions guided by a mind that weighed every outcome. Her reign was defined by balance. Elizabeth navigated the religious divide between Catholics and Protestants with careful diplomacy, establishing the Church of England as a middle path. Imagine her council chambers, where advisors debated in hushed tones, their arguments met with her sharp wit and unwavering authority. She refused to marry, a choice that baffled her court and her subjects. Suitors came from across Europe, princes, dukes, even kings, but she turned them away, declaring herself wedded to her nation. The decision was strategic, preserving her independence in a world where a husband might overshadow her rule. Yet it was also personal, a quiet defiance against the expectations of her time. The defeat of the Spanish Armada in 1588 was perhaps her greatest triumph. Picture the English coast, where stormy seas churned under a gray sky. As English ships, smaller but nimbler, outmaneuvered the vast Spanish fleet. The victory was not just military, but symbolic, a testament to Elizabeth's resolve and the loyalty she inspired. In the aftermath, she addressed her troops at Tilbury, her voice carrying over the wind. "I have the heart and stomach of a king." The words, steady and sure, echoed through the ranks, binding her people to her cause. But her reign was not without shadows. The constant threat of rebellion loomed. Catholic plots, led by figures like Mary, Queen of Scots, tested her mercy. Mary, her cousin, was a rival claimant to the throne, her presence a spark in a powder keg of religious tension. After years of imprisonment, Elizabeth signed Mary's execution order in 1587, a decision that weighed heavily on her. Imagine her alone in her chambers, the firelight flickering as she grappled with the necessity of such a choice. Lives were lost, not in bloody spectacle, but in the quiet machinery of statecraft, their weight a reminder of the cost of power. Elizabeth's court was a world of splendor and strategy. Picture Greenwich Palace, its halls adorned with tapestries that shimmered in the torchlight, the air scented with rosemary and lavender. Musicians played softly, their lutes weaving melodies as courtiers danced in measured steps. Yet, beneath the elegance lay a chessboard of alliances and rivalries. Elizabeth, ever the tactician, rewarded loyalty with favor and kept potential enemies close. Her smile a mask for her calculations. Her health, too, was a quiet struggle. By the 1590s, the Queen was in her late 50s, her body bearing the toll of decades of rule. Her teeth, blackened by sugary treats, of luxury of the elite, caused her pain, and her once vibrant energy waned. Yet she presented herself as the Virgin Queen, her image crafted through portraits and pageantry, her white-painted face a symbol of eternal youth. The effort to maintain this facade in the face of time's relentless march was a private burden, carried with the same resolve that defined her reign. As we linger in her world, imagine Elizabeth at her desk, her quill pausing as she gazes out a window, the Thames glinting in the distance. Her life was one of constant vigilance, of balancing power and perception, of leading a nation through turbulent seas. Her story, like the lives of her people, was one of resilience, shaped by the choices she made and the challenges she faced. Now, as we step away from the Queen's court, let us turn to a quieter enigma, one that lingers in the shadows of her reign. The mystery of Elizabeth's final days, and the unanswered questions surrounding her death, beckon us forward, inviting us to explore the unknown. As the grandeur of Elizabeth's court fades into the quiet of evening, imagine yourself standing in a dimly lit chamber, the air heavy with the scent of aged wood and wax. Atira is now 1603, and the Virgin Queen, once the vibrant heart of England, nears the end of her life. Her death, like so much of her reign, is cloaked in questions that linger even now, centuries later. Let us step gently into this mystery, exploring the possible causes of her passing, the cultural currents of her time, and the echoes of her legacy that still whispered through history. Allow your mind to wander, unhurried, as we unravel this enigma with a calm and steady gaze. By early 1603, Elizabeth was 69, a remarkable age for her era, when life was often cut short by disease or hardship. Picture her at Richmond Palace, her favorite retreat, where the Thames flows quietly beyond the windows. The once vibrant queen is frail, her steps slow, her face pale beneath the heavy white makeup that masks time's toll. Courtiers, their voices hushed, note her growing melancholy. She refuses food, sleeps little, and spends hours in silence, as if wrestling with thoughts too heavy to voice. The court, so accustomed to her commanding presence, feels the weight of an approaching end. What took Elizabeth from this world? The question has no single answer, only threads of possibility woven through the records of her final days. Let us trace these threads, not with urgency, but with the quiet curiosity of one exploring a forgotten path. The most widely accepted cause is a lingering illness, perhaps rooted in the frailties of age. Her health had been declining for years, her teeth decayed from a diet rich in sugary confections. Caused persistent pain, and infections may have taken hold. Imagine her sipping broth or herbal infusions, the bitter taste lingering as physicians hovered. Their remedies little more than guesswork. Blood poisoning, possibly from an abscess or ulcer, is one theory. Such ailments, common in a time before antibiotics, could sap even the strongest spirit, spreading silently through the body. Another possibility whispers through history: the toxic cost of beauty. Elizabeth's iconic appearance pale skin, framed by elaborate wigs and ruffled collars, was crafted with ceruse, a white lead-based makeup. Applied daily, it gave her the ethereal glow of the Virgin Queen, but lead is a slow poison. Picture her maids brushing the thick paste across her cheeks, the faint metallic scent unnoticed in the routine of courtly life. Over decades, lead could accumulate, weakening her organs, clouding her mind. Mercury, sometimes used in cosmetics or medicines, may have compounded the damage. The very image she cultivated, a symbol of eternal youth, might have betrayed her, its effects as subtle and relentless as time itself. Some historians point to pneumonia or a respiratory infection, common in the damp English winters. Imagine Richmond Palace, its stone walls cold and drafty, the air sharp with the chill of March. Elizabeth, weakened by age and exhaustion, might have caught a fever that settled in her chest, her breaths growing shallow as the days passed. Her refusal to rest, her insistence on standing or pacing, even in her final weeks, may have worsened her condition. The body's reserves spent in service to her indomitable will. A more speculative thread suggests melancholy itself played a role. Elizabeth's reign was a balancing act, her life a constant negotiation of power and solitude. The loss of trusted advisors like William Cecil and the execution of her cousin Mary, Queen of Scots, left scars. In her final months, the death of her friend, Catherine Carey, Countess of Nottingham, struck a deep blow. Picture Elizabeth, seated alone, her gaze distant, as grief settled like dust over her spirit. Some accounts describe her lying on cushions, unwilling to take to her bed, as if resisting the final surrender. Could a broken heart, or a mind weary from decades of vigilance, have weakened her resolve to fight illness? The idea, though romantic, carries a quiet truth. The weight of a crown is heavy, even for a queen. The culture of Elizabethan England offers context for this mystery. Medicine was a blend of science and superstition, rooted in the theory of humorous blood, phlegm, yellow bile, and black bile believed to govern health. Physicians might have bled Elizabeth, drawing life from her veins in a misguided attempt to balance her humors. Herbal concoctions, like willow bark or chamomile, filled the air with their earthy scents, but offered little relief against serious illness. Death was ever present in this world, its shadow familiar. Yet, Elizabeth's passing was not just a personal loss, but a national one. Imagine the whispers spreading through London, the uncertainty of a future without the queen who had defined an era. Archaeology offers no definitive answers, as Elizabeth's body was never exhumed or studied. Her tomb in Westminster Abbey lies undisturbed, a silent guardian of her secrets. Unlike modern autopsies, Her physicians left only vague records: fever, weakness, a refusal to eat. The absence of evidence fuels speculation, but it also preserves the mystery, allowing us to imagine her final moments as part of the larger tapestry of her life. Culturally, Elizabeth's death marked the end of the Tudor dynasty, a turning point that shifted England's course. Her reign had fostered a flowering of art and explorations. Think of Shakespeare's plays, performed in the Globe Theatre, or the voyages of Francis Drake, charting distant seas. Our passing was a quiet crescendo, the final note of a golden age. Yet, even in death, she remained a symbol, her legacy woven into the stories her people told, the plays they wrote, the songs they sang. As we linger on this mystery, imagine standing outside Richmond Palace, the night sky vast above, pinpricked with stars. Elizabeth's life slipped away on March 24th, 1603, her breath fading as the world she shaped carried on. The cause of her death remains a question, but its impact is certain. A queen, a nation, a moment in time, forever etched in history. Let us now step from this enigma into the lives of those who moved in Elizabeth's orbit: the courtiers, nobles, and elites whose world contrasted so sharply with the common folk. Their story, like hers, is one of ambition and fragility, waiting to unfold. As the mystery of Elizabeth's final days fades into the quiet of history, imagine yourself stepping through the gates of a grand estate, where the air is scented with lavender and the distant sound of lutes drifts through open windows. The year is still 1590, and we now enter the world of Elizabethan England's elite nobles, courtiers, and the wealthy whose lives glittered against the backdrop of the common folk's toil. Their existence, so different from the village rhythms we first explored, was one of privilege and performance, yet not without its own struggles. Let us wander through their halls, their gardens, and their ambitions, contrasting their world with the lives of those who labored in the fields, all while keeping our journey calm and unhurried. Picture a sprawling manor house, its stone facade warmed by the afternoon sun, its leaded windows glinting like jewels. This is the home of a noble family, perhaps an earl or a baron, whose wealth comes from vast estates worked by tenant farmers. Step inside, and the air shifts cool and heavy with the scent of polished oak and beeswax. Tapestries line the walls, their threads woven with scenes of hunts and myths, their colors rich even in the soft light. A long table, set with pewter plates and goblets, awaits a feast far removed from the pottage of the village. Here, you might find roasted venison, spiced with cloves from distant lands, delicate pastries, dusted with sugar, rare luxury. The elite dine not just to eat, but to display their wealth, each dish a quiet declaration of status. The rhythm of elite life revolves around the court, where power and favor are currency. Imagine yourself at Whitehall Palace, Elizabeth's grandest residence, its corridors alive with the rustle of silk and the murmur of intrigue. Courtiers, dressed in velvet doublets and ruffled collars, move with practiced grace, their every gesture calculated. Men like Robert Dudley, Earl of Leicester, or Sir Walter Raleigh navigate this world with charm and cunning, their fortunes tied to the Queen's approval. Women, too, played their part ladies-in-waiting, like Bess of Hardwicke, wield influence through whispered conversations and strategic marriages. The air here is thick with ambition, yet the stakes are high. A misstep could mean disgrace, exile, or worse. Contrast this with the village we visited earlier. While a farmer toils from dawn to dusk, his hands roughened by the plow, a noble might spend his morning dictating letters or inspecting his estates from horseback, his boots polished to a gleam, where a village woman spins wool by firelight. A lady of the court embroiders with silk thread, her fingers adorned with rings. The common folk gather at a village festival, their dances simple and hearty. The elite attend masques, elaborate performances where they play gods and nymphs under candlelit chandeliers. Yet both worlds are bound by the same rhythm of survival: the farmer to the land, the noble to the Queen's favor. Education sets the elite apart. Imagine a young nobleman in a private study, the air scented with ink and parchment, as a tutor guides him through Latin or rhetoric. His learning prepares him for courtly life, where wit and eloquence are as vital as wealth. Contrast this with the village child, who learns only what the fields or the church can teach. The elite's children are groomed for power, their marriages arranged to forge alliances, while the villager's match is often a practical bond, sealed with little more than a shared hearth. Yet privilege does not shield the elite from hardship. Disease, that silent thief, spares no one. A noble might fall to the same plague that ravages a village, though their physicians' remedies costly and often futile come with the scent of rosewater rather than herbs. Political intrigue, too, is a constant shadow. Picture a courtier, his smile fixed as he navigates rumors of treason or Catholic plots. The execution of Mary, Queen of Scots, sent ripples through the court, a reminder that even the powerful could fall. Lives were lost, not in bloody spectacle, but in the quiet machinery of trials and scaffolds. Their end, a whispered warning to those who remained. The elite's world was also one of cultural flowering. Imagine the Globe Theatre, its wooden benches filled with nobles and merchants alike, as Shakespeare's words fill the air, their cadence like a gentle tide. The elite patronized poets and painters, their wealth fueling the art that defined the age. Contrast this with the village, where stories are told by firelight, passed down through generations. Both worlds find meaning in tales, but the elites are etched in print, their legacy preserved in libraries, while the common folks fade with the voices that tell them. Religion, too, divides the classes. The elite attend the same Church of England as the villagers, but their faith is often a performance of loyalty to the Queen. Catholic nobles, hiding their beliefs, risk ruin if discovered, their chapels concealed behind false walls. In contrast, a villager's faith is simpler, woven into the rhythm of Sunday sermons and harvest prayers, yet both grapple with the same questions of salvation, their prayers rising to the same uncertain sky. As the day wanes, imagine the noble household settling into evening. A fire crackles in a grand hearth, its light dancing on silver candlesticks. The family gathers, perhaps reading or playing cards, their laughter softer but no less genuine than that of the village. Outside, the world of the common folk grows quiet, their hearts humbler but no less warm. Both worlds, so different, are bound by the human need for connection, for meaning, for rest. As we linger in this contrast, let us draw our journey to a close, reflecting on the tapestry of Elizabethan England, a world of struggle and splendor of lives, both ordinary and extraordinary, all woven together under the reign of a remarkable queen.